Prabhuda also says I'm not able to join.
Prabhuda waiting na bartala. ಬಂದು admit ಮಾಡ್ತ.
And yes, sir, joining.
Sorry, there was a glitch.
I think it will get settled, no?
You see, I have kept Zoom in two of my laptops. So the one doesn't.
So it is a laptop problem, not the Zoom problem.
No problem. And Zoom allows only from one. So that is a problem.
I was getting host is busy in another meeting. I was wondering, okay.
Yeah.
So I checked Skype.
So I think
but in my case,
I have to reclaim the host and again doing it.
Ramachandran, I used the powerful key. We shared message with Vidya. She said, "Okay, please join now."
that is the best. That is the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Only reliable person, wife.
Yeah. Not only that, she is very familiar with the Zoom. I am just a novice. I am mostly, I was with Skype. Since it is going to be discontinued from 1st of May, it is purpose, because of the necessity, I have to take up Zoom.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Welcome once again to our great session of Kathopanishad. Welcome, Sandhya ji. I think you are having quite a bit of sessions going on. Despite that, you could make this welcome. Okay. I think only you will have to distinguish between various sessions and what's happening and all. But of course, finally we are all attempting the same thing only, but in different methodologies being followed by different one. But ultimate goal is same. So it should not be making any difference. Now we will be commencing our proceedings. Sri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimad Ananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyobhyo Namo Namaha. Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolaya Niyadi Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuddha Sura Saukya Dukka Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Madiprabhudan Vadan Rasakatavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Padipatakam Tam Anandatirtha Munivaryam Namami Pujaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadenive Sahana Vavato Sahanau Bunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadidamastuma Vishvidavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome friends once again. We are just commencing the second chapter of the second Adhyaya, because we have seen the second part of Kathopanishad. We have seen the first chapter of the second part of the Kathopanishad, that is second Adhyaya we call it. The first chapter we have completed 15 mantras, which said how the senses are having the nature of going out. And because how we have to have some sort of a regulation over that, not control. Because when we talk about sense control, we try to demean, because our ability to interact with the senses. Without senses, we can't interact with this world, because that is a very fundamental thing we will have to do this. And this has been very brought about beautifully in one Tamil scripture, Thirumandiram. We have said long before. Everyone says, control your senses, control your senses. If you try to control the senses will not control. They will go out of your, you try to, because anything you try to control, even if you are controlled by your parents, please don't watch this TV. Your mind will go and you will try to do that. Thirumalar understands, Thirumalar is a great rishi, because about 3,000 years before, he has given 3,000 masterful verses there, because it is totally, because akin to another Siddhartha, but he has brought that entire human nature so powerfully. He said, you try to be, because friendly with the senses. You regulate the senses. So when you say, because when you tell your own children, Baba, beta, dekho, I think you try, you watch it for some time, you come home and then you play and then you do it. Likewise, you do slowly, once you create another interest, this interest will come down. When we talk about the control the desires, when to control the desires, you can't control the desire. Desire is it is sort of innate in us, because when you have the synaptic connections, when you see so many things, when so many things are being pumped into, even when you watch a TV, because so many advertisements, so many possibilities, and so many courses, because in YouTube, because to make you this, you make you that, and you try to find, we have all missed out all this time in our life. Let me take it at least when it is available. Likewise, we go on. But when we go from place to place, are we able to, because get that, because and get it, instilled in us? That requires the effort. That requires some sort of a effort. That's why it is very clearly said in our scriptures, however great Guru may be, however great your scriptures may be, however great, because your logical analysis may be, finally to find out your own happiness, your own greatness, and your own transcendence possibility, which has been given as a birthright to you, is only by yourself. No one, even your guru can't come, because when you are getting into the transcendence, you alone are going up, but they are all helping, they are all pole. You are using the pole like a pole vault, because the pole is required, the knowledge is required, the guru is required, the advice is required, your own experience is required. But when you finally have these things, and with the moral compass, when you try to grow yourself into that the noble, that firmament, finally you will have to leave the pole. You will all take the pole. When the pole was, when you go put it in the keg and go up, you'll have to leave the pole. If you're holding on to the pole, it will again bring you back. You will have to leave it, because then you will have to go. Then only you will be able to find out yourself. And everyone's liberation, everyone's transcendence is different. Yours may be different, mine may be different, the others may be different. The people who are following the different philosophy, the religion, maybe, they may be following the path. But finally, when you find out that the bliss, what we call, where there is no pleasure or a pain, but a pure sort of existence, the pure happiness, what it comes about, that is something personally has to be understood, experienced, and it can't be expressed in any other form. This has been brought about in the first chapter. As they brought in the first chapter, they gave a few of the beautiful metaphors and analogies. They said, because why, because how you are getting, dissipated into this world is, like when the glaciers are there in the mountain, because in the Himalayas and the Alps, when the glaciers are there, the glaciers are, cities are solid, because they have got a huge volume. But finally, when they melt, they come into the river, they dissipate all through. Depending upon the places where they are going, how they are being used. The water is being used for a sort of holy purposes like a Ganges, because it will be giving its own sort of a strength and energy to the people, who are interacting with it. It will be the Gangetic belt, because it is putting up, it is giving so much of fertility, and so much of a farming takes place. Finally, the mankind is able to get the food and all. But the same Ganges, the same glacier, the melts elsewhere, it goes roundabout, because it is going through all sort of hillocks and gets into some sort of a muddy waters, not available, and gets into some gutters. So then finally it has to be processed. We are like that, because when we are dissipating ourselves, because you will have to put STPs. The treatment plants are there, because the slime treatment plant or whatever you call it, it has to be treated, and then that water has to be put into then it has to be let out into the river and all. Otherwise it will get polluted. To avoid the pollution, because we are polluted, to come out of the pollution, we will have to clean ourselves. The Upanishad is giving us the process by which we can clean ourselves. It is a STP. It's a treatment plant. Once we come home, once you find out what happens, that's what the last mantra, because most of you, I think, you might not have had the occasion to listen to that in the last, you can see that, in the last YouTube. It is like a pure water is poured into the pure water. When the treated water gets into the Ganges, it also gets this quality similar to that of the Ganges. It may not become a Ganges all through, because it has been treated, but then eventually it becomes part of it. It is like that. So likewise, they get it. This is the process. This is the Upanishad helps us to get. That is the transcendence. Finally, when you are treated yourself, you become pure. Because this has been emphasized in every other philosophy, we will also see that. So having seen that, because how, because we will have to have a sort of without dissipating, because the energy, once we have it, the energy is being dissipated. Every unwanted thoughts takes away the energy. Every unwanted fear takes away the energy. Every unwanted desires takes away the energy. When you are able to regulate yourself, but how, you can't control the desire, but once you're having a higher desire, what is the higher desire? Higher goal, higher purpose. Not necessarily, you are going to be, sort of starting a charitable organization, but you will be doing, because something, because of you, so many other people will get the benefit. Because the life is, we are not alone. We are all connected, interconnected. When you do some action, there is always a ripple effect somewhere else. When you say some kind words, whoever is at that point of time across to you, they get the pleasure of hearing the kind words, the smile comes out of them. But when someone speaks the insolent words, the person gets hurt. But once he gets hurt, it lives with him for lifelong. Because that one occasion is good enough. So in Tamil, the Tirukural, the Teenal Suttapum Ullarum, Aradi Naminar Suttavadu. Even if the fire, that causes some sort of a burn into you, I think you can cure it maybe over a period of week or 10 days and applying something like that on its own. But if a word that hurts, and if a person has taken it, it will not go for the lifetime. That is why, because what we say, when we are having a sort of a higher desire, let me try to speak the best words as possible. Let me try to see as sweet as possible. Because not, you don't have to have, because by practice, by always having a good thoughts, you yourself will be generating it. You don't have to make a specific effort into that. So it is basically that's being talked about, because the subconscious, you have got a lot of things, that is there. You slowly convert by practice into some percentage of the conscious actions. Because subconscious, because you don't have any control, it happens as it is. But once you are giving, an effort to convert the subconscious, even the subconscious is full of the processed thoughts. Your conscious efforts and the subconscious efforts, will try to always give you into the best of mode, and you will be able to give the best output. This is what exactly the Upanishad has said us in the first chapter. The second chapter, because what it says is, because when you are doing all these self-regulation, self-control, there are varieties of stages. We may not be taking cognizance of that. It gives an indication how to take cognizance of that, how we can, go about it and all. And then it also gives an impression, because there is some life force which is controlling us. We call it God. The other people, call it, because it is the energy, because those who don't believe it. In Western philosophy, they call it, because it is the ability to reason and discriminate. That's what they call it, God. Socrates called it, though he is written called God, it is the highest possibility of human being can get into. Because God and all, again, it becomes a religion, theology and all. So that's why, the word God has been given. The God, when it has been given, because in the Latin, when they say Deu, because the one who always props you, who keeps you going. We call it self, Atman and all, everything we call it. Self has been given a beautiful definition of self. It is a self-energizing loving force. Source of energizing loving force. That is because it gives you, because it loves all your organs, it loves all your senses, it loves the body, which is resident in which, it is there. So because the body, when it is there, your eyes have to function, your ear has to function, your mouth has to, because function very well, so that, you get the taste of it, and you are able to speak the good words, and your hands have to work, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and, because, and then your pranendriyas, because all the 5 pranas, that is keeping us going and all. Because the entire life force comes into us through Sahasrara, because that's what the scriptures say. And it also says, because when it comes through the prana, the first breath when we take in the mother's womb, through which, because the life energy force, it comes, which is going to stay there, till such time it is ordained here. This body is a resident of that. So therefore, you'll have to look after the body very well. It is a temple. The self, if you call it Atman or Paramatman, it is a temple. You have to look after the body. When you are looking after the body, because once it is a temple, you should have the qualities of it should be pure, clean. It should not have all gutters around and all. It should be very, that is the thoughts. The thoughts only will be able to maintain that. There is no other process. So this has been brought about, in this, and then in this also it says, because when you say it's Brahman or God or and all, how to understand, how to sort of have a sort of a indication that is there and all. So the first mantra of the second chapter of the second part, second adhyaya, we are going into that. It is in your 103 of the page, the document which I have sent. And this very simply says, Puram Ekadasham Dvaram Ajasya Avakra Chetasa. Avakra Chetasa. This is what Puram Ekadasham. Puram, what you call, Puram is a city. We might have seen. We have called, a lot of Purams are there. And, because in Tamil, Puram is very commonly used to refer to the city. Etaya Puram, that Puram and all. North also Purams are there. The Puram is a city, because they compares the body to be a city. The city, what is the Ekadasham Dvaram? Okay, it has got 11 gates, it says. We might find, because it is little odd, because we have heard only Navadvar. Because we say, because when normally in the colloquial, when we refer to sort of the body and all, Navadvar. Navadvar means, because 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, and 2 ears, 1 mouth, and 2 excreting, and Karmendriyas, together it is the 9, through which, because, and again, through Nabi, because this is the 9 outlets through which you will be able to get access to this world. That's what it's normally said. But whereas this mantra said Ekadashatvar. Ekadashatvaram here that refers to 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and 1 mouth, 7, which is made up of your upper part of the body. And then, because it takes care of the navel, navel is being referred to here because through the navel only the energy has been given to the body in the womb. Because once you come out, because the navel doesn't have any other function otherwise keeping the balance of the lower part of the body. And then, you have got the 2 indriyas, the excreting and as well as generation, because that is there. The together, they make 9. But that 3, 7 plus 3, it becomes 10. And the 11th one they call it is Brahmarandriya. The Brahmarandra, what is called, is on the crown head, just above the crown head. What we call Sahasrara. The Brahmarandra is considered to be one of the sort of gates through which, because the Shastra says, and even it has been proven, though science has yet to prove that, your life force, comes into the womb through the Sahasrara chakra. When the Kundalini, because you are trying to rise it, when it has to go to, through your chakras, through all the chakras, through Ajna chakra, and finally it has to go to Sahasrara, it has to go to just above. And we also said Atyatishta Dasangulam, just about, because you are Angushta Matram, because our 10th thumb, because that is the distance above the crown head. This is there to be Sahasrara. It is in your aura. Because nowadays, those who know about Reiki and those who know about pranic and all, they talk about, aura of a person. Because your aura is just about 6 inches, up to 6 to 10 inches around you, it is always there. If you are a saint, you will feel, when you walk across to a saint or when you go and visit a saint, you will find, when you go near him, you find the grace of him, because the splendor of him and the vibration you feel it. And when you go to a person, who is detestable, who is all sort of things, you try to avoid him, because and the vibration always, because repulses you. So this is exactly, because they have said this is Brahmarandriya, this has been taken together, this 11 gates. Through the 11 gates only, because Puram Ekadasham, because this body is having 11 gates, all the 11 gates, the 11 securities, who are looking after, because they are all the various Devatas, we have talked about earlier, because how eyes are being controlled by sun, ears by moon. Just a minute. Hello. ஒரு half an hour கழிச்சு பேசலாமா? Right. So when all the 11 gates are there, 11 securities are there, they are all the devatas, because like the moon, and then we have also seen, because the mouth is being Agni is there, clicking after. We have got various devatas. They are all working under the command of the highest self, the Paramatman, who is taking care of that. And he is the one, finally taking care of, all these gates are being, kept properly, and so that, unwanted elements doesn't come in through these gates. It is a city will have everything. City will have a mall, city will have a ground, city will have a temple, city will have a red light area also, city will have a bar, and everything also. But then, because all of them, will have to be kept, only for that particular purpose and particular type of people who are going in. But finally the city has to be governed. The governance of the city is with one person who is taking care of it. Therefore, in your life, when you are being taken to different experiences, some of them may be wonderful, some of them, maybe you might like to forget, because that might be there, and some of them maybe, because you might have experienced out of curiosity, but you would not have liked to have it. All those things, because life is it's a mixture of everything. We can't simply be saying, it is always sattvic, it is happy-go-lucky. It is not like that. It will have its own sort of ups and downs. It will have own undulations will be there. That will be there. From ekadasham dvaram ajasya avakra chetasa. It is being controlled by one. When he says, because he is the avakra ajasya, because the unborn, who is, who is the creator, who was time immemorial, param brahma, param dama, paramam pavitram, paramam bhavan, purusham sasvatam divyam adidevam ajambim. That's what our Bhagavad Gita says. Who is the Brahman and all? Param brahma, param dama. He is, of course, he was there time immemorial, and he will be there, and because no one knows about it, he is in his param dama, because in the place where he is there, whether you call it Kailash, Vaikunta, this and that, whatever it is there, because even kingdom of God, whatever it is there, and he is there, because that we don't know. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Pavitram, it is that purity, everything is there. Once you go there, because not a tent, not even a speck of a dust can go there. With a sort of, your mind, pure mind only will be able to reach. Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Sasvatam. He was always there. Purusham. He is the one finally, he does everything, he does every creation, maintenance, and the dissolution, and always taking care of it, all your thoughts, everything. He is the one with consciousness, what you call it, it could be consciousness, but what is that? He gives the entire energy for everything and all. But what happens is we are all a different instruments with a different kind. Based on the quality of the instrument we have, we are able to use that energy. If you are having the very, very costly mobile, and it will have all the features, the energy will be used and more features will be available. But if you are having sort of a less costlier one, it will be there. Even the versions, we had a disk operating system long before, and afterwards Windows came, and Windows have come through several sort of manifestations. Now it is Windows 11, Windows 10, and before that, we had Windows 8 was also there, and some other version was also there. Likewise, every software gets changed, but the instrument will be able to work depending upon what you are capable. So when you are evolving yourself, you could have been a disk operating system, and sometimes you could have become a Windows. And once you more evolved, you become something like that, because you will be able to sort of, because you have got more security features, and you are able to process more efficiently. As we go about it, finally, when it comes, finally, you find the source of, the self-generating, the self-energizing, loving force, what you call self, or the Atman. You will be able to access that, because that energy will give only a pure love. In the sense, you will not have any like, dislike, this and that, nothing will be there. It is the law of the Lord is love, and the language of the Lord is silence. You will not be unnecessarily wasting your energy in speaking something which is not required. You will speak only what is required and what is appropriate, what is relevant. So once that is the status, finally we are all aiming at. But are we able to in the circumstances? It depends upon as we. It is a journey. It is a work in progress as we go about it. Avakra Chetasaha, because the Ajasya, who is unborn, in Parambrahma, Paramdama, we started about Avakra Chetasaha in the sense, he doesn't have any sort of a kink in his mind, thoughts and mind. He is absolutely pure Chetas, Avakraha. Avakra Chetas in the sense, not any sort of a king, nothing. It is a pristine, pure, straight line. It is like a circle in the sense, perfect circle, because he is such a highest knowledge, because all our knowledge is all being kinked. We have got our own attitudes. We have got our own characteristic idiosyncrasies, our own attitude, and we have got our own sort of, our own innards. We have got certain likes and dislike and certain approach. We like this particular way of thinking. We like particular way of. He doesn't have anything at all. He is open. He will be, because he gives you the energy, whether you want to do it, because as a wonderful person to create something or a wonderful scientist, or, you want to create chaos, as it is happening anywhere in the world, you can create that also. He gives you the energy, but depending upon the instrument, you will be doing what is required. So to understand him only, to understand the process of, to know him, how to get the best out of that, that is what, because we are going through the Upanishad. And he says, Anushtaya Nasochati. Once you know there is a power who is looking after all the 11 gates, and he is regulating the 11 gates. All the 11 gates, these people are being taken care of, and so that, once the king is there, who is looking after the king, is everlasting, the kingdom of the God, what we call it, Param Brahma. He's the one who is looking after. Na sochati, you will not be able to have any sort of a thoughts, any fear or anything, any doubt. Indubitable. You will not have any fear. Once you have that, because that is the final one, you will be getting into. And this is what, they said, and vimukta cha vimuchyate. Because next word says, vimukta sa vimuchyate. Anushtaya na sochati vimukta sa vimuchyate. In the sense, once you get liberated in thoughts, how do you get liberated in thoughts? As long as you are able to, you are not able to give up anything as mine, as well as my own or I and all, this will continue. All of us are having that, because I'm not having, this is my house, this is my laptop, this is my session, and this is how I am talking, this is how I did it, and all those things I say. Because I am not realizing whatever I am saying is, because whatever has been given to some extent, I am able to get it and I am able to sharing it. And it is not I am not doing it, because it is getting it done by someone else. I don't understand that. Once you understand someone is getting it done by you and you are not the doer, that is where, because vimukta, then you will not own anything. Because this laptop is, today it is mine because I happen to have this, because I had some money, I purchased it, I am here and it is there and all. But it need not necessarily be mine all through, because it could be, anyone else's, afterwards, because when it goes out of my hand, it may go out of my hand anytime. If it come to me, from nowhere, it can go nowhere, in no time, it can happen and all. Once you have that, you are liberated. You will not be able to holding on, because you will not be able to see, now I have got it, now I will have to protect it. I will have to keep it in a proper place. I will have to insure it. Well, practical things, you will be doing, but you will not be holding on, because suddenly, because something misses or something doesn't happen, you will not just be, because worried about it. Worried about in the sense, it will not sort of agitate you. You will try to take whatever action necessary. Oh, yes, if it is somehow, misplaced or something like that, let me try to find out. If it has been taken away, let me try to retrieve it. That's all. Nothing more than that. Vimuktasya vimuchyate. So once you are liberated in thought, without me and I, then slowly you get vimuchyate, when this Finally, this body, Ekadashapuram, the city in which you are resident, you are not, you are the soul. You are only residing in this body. To make understand, you are not the body. This only says it is a city in which you are living. I am living in Hyderabad, you are living in Bombay, someone living in Bangalore, someone is in Delhi. You are living in this place. But it is not going to be, you are going to be on all along. I am going to be here. Tomorrow I will have to shift, for some reason, somewhere else, because I will have to go. I will be shifting, because I will not be just holding it on. I know, because there is a governance that is going on. When I go there, there will also be governance in that place. So this is exactly, because when you are giving up, because when the body goes off, you will not be bothered, because it is the Puram you have lived in. You are not the body. You are only the soul. Puram ekadasha dvaram ajasya avakra chetasaha. Because, in this, he is taking care of all these things. Anushtayana sochati. Once you know, once you have the Shraddha and Saburi, as Sai Baba temple say, he is the one who is taking care of everything. And then you will not have any problem whatsoever. And you will not have any fear or any sort of a thoughts, worried thoughts. Once you know this is not your body, as and when, because you will have to leave the body, you will, because yes, it has, body has to go, that. You will not be worried about. That is why, then you will not have any fear at all. The only thing which gives the fear is, because as long as we know, we are the body, once you know, you are not the body, you will not be worried about, and you have got 11 gates, and you are into the traffic, because that takes place with the world, by which, you are trying to give some sort of, you feel something lacking in you, and what is available in the world doesn't have any sort of a vitality or a form. You are trying to give a vitality and form with your mind. You think there is something else, which we call it, because the tanmatra, sabda sparsha, rupa rasa gandha. So the objects gets, because they magnified, because we think, that is the end of it. But objects are the only means. They are not the end. As long as we don't know it, because we get attached to the objects, whatever it may be, or anything which comes about. Once you know, you are not the body, because it has got the 11 gates, it is being taken care of anyone by the person, who has created and who is giving all the energy, the source of, the self-energizing loving force, it gives it. And then with that, we are living in this world, and we are not allowing the traffic to take away. If you are in the traffic jam, if you are being held up in the traffic, what you do? You can't do anything. Neither you can go there nor here. But if you don't get into the traffic jam, and you simply observe the traffic, yes, coming and going, it is there and all, because okay, that experience is there, we have gone and we have come. I have gone to that place, I have come. I'm living in this city, tomorrow I will move to the other city, something else, because we'll be there. Every city has got its own profile, plus and minuses. I try to adapt. People who have lived in many, many cities, like us, we not have people who have lived in only one city. They will have a problem, because I used to have this, I used to have that, because they will feel miserable when you go to another place. Basically, because you should be able to adopt anywhere. Kya farak padta hai? Wherever you go there, you want, your needs will be met, because now it is there and all, facilities are there. You've got big basket is there, you've got Zomato is there, so many things are there, they will come. So you don't have to worry about it. He is liberated and being free, he gains emancipation. That's what it says. You totally get the emancipation, you are already liberated. Once you give up mine and me, you are already liberated, they say. But the liberation gets fructified, because once the body also goes, you are not bothered about death or anything like that, leaving the body or anything, something happening to the body, some affliction is there, and you are always worried about, I had this problem, I went to 100 doctors, sometime it gets better and sometime it is not. All those things, worries will go off. This is exactly, it says, because Brahman you are in the 11 gated city, you don't have to get attached to the body, because you are not the body. The body is a form, and the form, because it has been by which, you are known, and because of that, what you are trying to do is, since you know everyone by the form, you are trying to give form to every other thing in the world, for the objects, you are trying to give a form and vitality to that. And finally, you should not become an object yourself, because as long as you know you are not the object and you are only giving a form, and then as long as the utility is over, you are not by. Once you understand what it is, you look at the object as an object itself. But when you are looking at the other person, because when you are persons who are like you, they are also a 11-gated city. Then how you will have to do is you will have to see, because it's the same source, because the self-energizing loving force is there. So then you will have to see, as a sort of a end in themselves. They also have an experience like you. They also have got the 11-gated city, and they also have their plus and minuses. They have also gone the travails of life. They have also got the ups and downs. They have also got the tribulations and trials, everything and happened and all. So you will have to give everything the sort of a respect, and because you will have to take them as the end in themselves. You cannot take them as the means. You can't consider someone inferior, someone you superior and all. Everyone has got an end in themselves. Likewise, you are also no less. You have got your own experience. You have got, you are a sort of emperor of, your own experience. No one's experience can explain you who you are and all. Only you can find out who you are. No one says, you'll have to find who the other person is. You will have to find only who you are. So therefore, we should not be getting into all those things, and try to, as long as we try to understand this, we know, because we are not the body. It is only 11-gated city. It is finally being governed effectively by one person, and I don't have anything to fear. So then, it becomes a sort of a source of utmost happiness. See what meditation and all what we try to do, because when the meditation, when you try to do, you are only observing the breath and trying to take out the thoughts of the thoughts. Then, in a sense, thoughts may go out during the point of the meditation. Once the meditation is over, you will again come back to this world. So when the thoughts comes, because you will try to sort of reject the thoughts, which is not useful to you, which is trying to take you to a higher goal. That is good, because what is the higher goal which is able to make you that nothing is that, because you what you consider yours and mine are not yours. As long as trying to get into that mode, you will become sort of a effective instrument of the divine power. Others, not only that, you will be sort of a enlightening so many people. Your presence will enlighten so many people. Your presence will send the vibration all around. See, all of us have to become like that, because that's what Upanishad wants. The whole world is like that, because nothing like, you will not be trying to work out, because I am trying to make myself great or make some country great and all those things, become whom you are going to make great, because it's all finally the energy is, the total component of the energy is one. Only it can be transformed into another. But if you see the sum and some substance of the entire energy, it is a constant. The whole energy of the world is constant, because it may be dissipating in a different transformations, but finally it will all be coming out. Then once you understand that, you will not be. So he has got two approaches. One is, because in this life itself, once you give up me and mine, none of them will be affecting you. And once you get that liberation, then finally you will not be worried about leaving this body also. So then, because there is a concept of Jivan Mukta and Videha Mukta and all. That concept we will see next week. Jivan Mukta is a concept, because which is still debated by the people who are propounding it also. The Videha Mukta is already given in our scriptures. Then we have seen in our Isavasha Upanishad system, one great sloka is there in which says that we will all be seeing other things. And since it is a very, very sort of a abstract subject, as we are going into, we will be seeing more detail in next week. I am trying to keep at this level, because now we have come into the first mantra, and we will give a little recap of the earlier chapter also, because next week, and try to take it into a sort of a seamlessly into the next chapter. With this, I will try to conclude today's this small session, because the second chapter is very important. We have got again 15 mantras. And the third one is finale, fitting finale. It gives us takes it to the end of Kathopanishad. Once you know Kathopanishad, you are deemed to have known the entire Sara of Bhagavad Gita. Whether we have seen, chapter by chapter and all, at the concept wise, finally, when you get the Sara of Kathopanishad, we will also enumerate. we will see that the entire concept of entire Sara of Kathopanishad and Bhagavad Gita, there is no difference, one and the same. With this, I will try to conclude today's this small session. And because of some glitches, we had the delayed start. Sorry for that. Next week we will take care of that. With this, let me conclude. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejaspina vadi.